Thank you, Sumant. Good morning to all of you. I'll say my three younger brothers sitting on the dais, Justice Kaul, Justice Bhushan, and Mr. Amitabh Kant, and a very, very, very dear friend, Scott, who has come all the way from Australia, and I know the hiccups which he had to face while reaching here. But here he is because of his commitment to our Insol India, because we had Insol International event yesterday, and ILA. I will not take much time, but we'd like to introduce and say something about the ILA, and before that about insolvency, although Mr. Sumant Batra has mentioned you about it, but it's a unique idea, if I may say, in the beginning itself, and needs to be commended. And therefore, people should know about this, and particularly when this ILA today is formally launching itself, in the sense in the form of this conference. It is said that the world is in a state of bankruptcy, that the world owes the world more than the world can pay. This was said by Ralph Waldo Emerson, although this profound statement is in a different context, with altogether distinct perspective in mind, but it is the fulcrum of bankruptcy laws. At the same time, in the modern world of economic globalization, it would be a myopic viewpoint of legal systems operating around bankruptcy laws. Today, insolvency laws play a more important role than merely resolving bankruptcy cases or issues of a particular corporation or company. They have a direct nexus with the economic development of a nation and for bringing international global economic order. It is now realized that realized and recognized that law has a deep connect with economics. And I always felt that. I have rendered the judgment as Supreme Court judge also on the connect between law and economics. And I think insolvency laws are the finest example of, because they are economic laws, and how the economy has to be taken into consideration while implementing these laws. It becomes very, very important, and it has to be seen at that level, particularly by the judiciary, that I have always been of this view. As the great American judge Richard Posner once eloquently observed that in the globalized world, which is day by day becoming more digital and technological driven, with an intense commercial prevalence, the availability of being able to pay at a later time has become fundamental requisite for the effective functioning of the current global order. At the same time, this need of granting credit carries with it an intrinsic risk, which demands strict laws and their enforcement in case the debtor fails to meet his obligation of paying the creditor. Of course, that is one way of looking at the insolvency laws. And with the globalization, what is happening is that, one thing, and as we know and we discussed yesterday also, IBC came into effect in 2016, and in 6 years, the strides which it has made. But more importantly, I would say in one sentence, that apart from what is happening in India about IBC and how it has to be implemented, we have realized in these 6 years that insofar as international practices are concerned and what has been happening in various other jurisdictions, and me, Justice Kaul, Mr. Sumant Batra in the capacity as a president of Insol International, we have been associated with Insol International for 23, 24 years. And we have seen the kind of exposure which we got and what has been happening in the world around, through the medium of Insol International, and how it has to be the good practices which we have learned, how these are to be imbibed in implementing IBC laws in India. This becomes all the more relevant. And we know UNCITRAL has been doing a lot. This World Bank has been doing in this context a lot. ADB is doing a lot. But what has been happening all around is to be now gathered, that information. I think this is in 21st century is the era of information. As Alvin Toffler said, it took many, many centuries to become agriculture economies in the world, then few centuries industrialized economies, but 21st century, it's a knowledge economy now, as it is called. And because of digitalization, we know that whatever is happening around the world, so it is now transmitted very soon everywhere. So what is happening in insolvency world, it has to be captured, it has to be seen, and therefore I feel that it is really a very, very good, noble, and unique idea to conceive of this ILA. And I must commend, and me and Justice Kaul were just discussing about it, just see the kind of energy which Sumant has, the vision which he has, and he could think about it maybe while discussing about India's presidency as G20, and in that form, because he's associated with the government in so many projects, this idea came to him, and I think this is the idea whose time has come. The vision document, if you have, you would see, is presented here. It may be there on your table, but I would, without taking much time on this, would say something about it, that the ILA has created an independent research center that contributes towards the process of policy making in insolvency and bankruptcy by investigating and analyzing the impact of insolvency framework through its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and fears in a spontaneous manner. This process leads to the discovery of evidence and feedback mechanism for the policy makers and institutions that implement the insolvency and bankruptcy code upon the market players. The aim of this exercise is to develop a community of professionals and academics in pursuit of education, research, and scholarship in the field of insolvency in India. So I'm privileged to be the first chairperson of its Global Advisory Board, and feel proud in saying that within few months, that 8 months time which Mr. Batra mentioned, it has got well-deserved global attention and recognition. As I said, all credit goes to Sumant, who has single-handedly, of course, with that young team which he mentioned, and tirelessly worked for its success with full devotion and commitment to the cause. In order to deliver goals effectively, the body has collaborated with NCLT, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, the central and state governments, RBI, Indian Banks Association, financial institutions, industry members, like-minded research and other institutions, and other stakeholders in the insolvency industry. These collaborations will not only assist in development of a world-class soft infrastructure for the insolvency industry, but also mentor the potential leaders of insolvency industries through niche educational and training programs. And that is what we aim to do. And one thing more, I would not take much time in saying that I had wanted to say about mediation, which has become the buzzword insofar as dispute resolutions are concerned. And I have always felt and written a lot about this mediation, that it is, according to me, in many respects, it is the best form of access to justice, because it brings about win-win situation. And how and the entire world is talking, it is in the mind of, as a primary focus of Insol International also is there, as Scott would tell you, how mediation is to be ingrained in the implementation or resolving the insolvency disputes. And we have established in ILA Mediation Center for this particular purpose. So this is what the aim of ILA is, and with this I once again on behalf of Mr. Sumant Batra and ILA welcome all the dignitaries sitting on the dais, and I'm sure and confident that whole day today and tomorrow we will have very fruitful sessions. Thank you very much.